Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on today's ESA webinar, ProSeries, one platform to win more customers, keep them longer, and drive profits. In this webinar, Resideo Channel Marketing Manager, George Janelis, will discuss innovative ways to leverage ProSeries to win more customers, keep them longer, and drive more profits. I'm Jillian Bateman, ESA's Chief Development Officer, and I'm excited to lead this webinar today. Before we dive in though, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us on your first ESA webinar. Welcome. You will be muted for the duration of the session, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. If you have a question or comment at any point during today's session, click the Q&A or chat icons at the bottom of your interface. If you do have a question, no need to wait till the end of the session. Go ahead and type it in, and I'll ensure we save some time today with our expert at the end of the session. We'll also be recording today's webinar, so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share it with your colleagues. Tomorrow, you'll receive an email thanking you for your attendance today with a link to the recording. If you enjoy quality content and best practice sharing like you'll hear today, ensure you mark your calendars for the Electronic Security Expo, being held June 14th through the 17th in Fort Worth, Texas. The event is designed by and for the pro-installed electronic security and life safety channel. And with over 30 sessions driven by panels of integrators and dealers paving the ways in areas like reducing truck rolls, managing attrition, cash flow, and more, your leadership is sure to find tactical advice that you can bring back to the business. We at ESA realize your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our expert, George Janelis. George is the marketing lead for the residential new construction, or RNC market at Resideo, where he oversees the marketing efforts across Resideo solutions for RNC in security, air, water, and energy. He is a 25-year veteran in security and connected home technologies. Prior to his current role, he has held multiple positions in telecommunications, dealers programs, and even distribution. His career has been marked by introducing new products to the market and provides insights on how to deliver complete portfolio solutions that provide strategic differentiation. He is passionate about delivering on dealer and integrator needs and aligning the tools they need to help them grow their businesses. George, I'll let you take it from here.
Hey, thanks a lot. Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to this session today. And yes, we'll be talking about ProSeries and how it can help our customers win more customers, keep them longer, and drive profits. Little bit of an overview on the agenda today. So we'll give a little discussion about the market and where we have seen some things recently. Talk about where ProSeries fits in all of this, talk about the benefits of the platform, and then we'll go into those three major benefits of the program about winning more customers, keeping them longer, and driving profits, and leave some Q&A for any questions that you may have towards the end. But like Jillian said, we ask those questions in the chat box throughout the session. Joining me today is Troy Barnes. And he will be assisting us, at least assisting me, on a lot of things on ProSeries in case there's some technical questions out there that maybe are above my understanding. And Troy can bail me out and help us out with some of those answers. But Troy and I work together quite a bit, and he's got a lot of knowledge in the marketplace. So let's talk about the market. Market's pretty interesting out there. And I'm sure a lot of you are finding that same situation. When you take a look at what the opportunities are, you see that about 70% of households don't have a security system. That's a pretty big opportunity. Interesting, you look at the second one, that 56% say that security is their next smart home purchase. Well, that's pretty interesting because smart home and security has been coming closer and closer together. And so when you see a number like 56%, that's a really big opportunity for everybody in the security industry. Those DIY systems, you see 4.8 hours of an average installation time. So the quick plug and play type of situation may not be all what it's cracked up to be. So the pro has an opportunity to be able to take some of those pains away from the consumer. And you take a look and you see 12% of people have a second home, another great opportunity for systems. And we'll show you how some of those things, even with ProSeries, help in a situation like that. So there's no going around this one. There's been a lot of changes over the last 2 years, and what things have changed over that time frame, especially regarding systems and what people are looking for in their home and their lifestyle, and what how COVID has actually affected them. And as you would imagine, deliveries of packages, food, other services, major item that they're concerned about, and how they're reconsidering how they live in their home. So when packages are coming to their house, they may want to be able to see those things, doorbell cams, things of that type of situation, right? They want their comfort in the home because they're home more. So they want to easily have that comfort and be able to control their thermostats and lighting and all those different things in the house. Wi-Fi and broadband, obviously big importance because we're doing these things from home now. And so now you're on all day and you're doing webinars and you're streaming and you're having Teams calls and Zoom calls and all these things, and they're important. And the services to support that are really important to them. So you can see a list of the items that are there, and you can see where they rank out. And I would say that probably pre-COVID, you probably would see some of these things higher up on the list than where they are today. So things have absolutely changed over the last couple of years. You take a look at the connected home and what all of that has to offer people. And when you take a look here, you can see all the things that Resideo gets involved with and the things that you can put in the home to be able to create that connected home. And whether that's going to be things that are security related, energy related, different services, all these items come into what they call the connected home, and how the homeowners now are looking at it and saying, these are all the individual components that are no longer becoming individual components. Those silos are becoming one solution. And that's how we look at it at Resideo, to be able to provide that type of solution to our customers, our dealers who are installing these products, and obviously to the eventual end user or the consumer, right? So let's talk about ProSeries and what did we do with this? So this product helps our dealers, helps you win more customers, be able to keep them longer, and be able to drive profits. Those three things are really important to a dealer, right? You need customers, you got to bring people on, you want to be able to get more people onto your own RMR agreements, right? You want to obviously keep them. You don't want them to leave after your initial 3 years. You want them to be there for 7, 8, 10 years, right? And you want to be able to do that cost effectively and financially positive. So you want to be able to drive more profits for your organization. And those are the concepts that we are together with the ProSeries and how we thought about the product. So let's get into some of this. So really, ProSeries really does bring a lot of things together. And you take a look at this portfolio. There's quite a bit to it. And you've got multiple panels. We have our Pro A7 Plus, ProSeries A7 Plus, and the ProSeries A7. I'll go into some differences, but we do have two flavors of the control panel. We have our true secondary touchscreen display that is wireless, and really excited about that and how that's been addressed in the market. We haven't had something to this extent in the marketplace before, and this really has really taken a lot of interest by a lot of customers, and the consumers really like it. And I'll go into those details in a little bit. We have our more traditional two-line alpha display when needed. And you take a look at user interfaces, the next one really fits right into that because you have your mobile connection with Total Connect, and that's a user interface. So all of those items right over there are all part of that user interface and user experience for the management of the system and of your business to a certain degree. We have AlarmNet 360 that does your programming of the ProSeries panel, and ProSeries can be programmed locally also. So there's a lot of control there. We have motion viewers to be able to record events when a motion is detected, you can get a recording of an event. We've got communication modules, and modularity is going to be a big part of the discussion today. That's a big part of the design element of the overall ProSeries, and those modules that we're going to get into here between the radios, modules for Wi-Fi and Z-Wave for our home control. Big part of that. We also have a takeover module to help you with your installations of other systems that you may be taking over, and a customer wants to change over to your services, but they have an existing system. You might be able to utilize some of those technologies, even with the hardwired, because we have a wired to wireless converter. So now you're able to utilize some of those systems that components that are inside somebody's home that you may want to be able to take over and utilize and switch them into the wireless system. We have components to do that. If you look at the bottom, we have our peripherals, and big opportunity here because these are what we call our PROSIX two-way encrypted wireless sensors in the peripherals. So yes, they are two-way, so they are communicating from the panel out to the sensor and from the sensor back to the panel. So there's a true two-way communication, increasing that level of information that we can get into the panel and how it communicates. And on top of that, it is encrypted. So it's a secure security. And so we have an encrypted sensor, and we have a big portfolio here. So big on life safety, right? So you've got your smoke and heat and combination. We have sirens, indoor and outdoor. Obviously, we have our door and window contacts, and we've got a few flavors of those. We've got some really nice small ones. You can see there with the Mini and the Mini 2s. And then on the bottom, you can see we've got temperature, motion, flood, shock sensors, glass breaks. We have repeaters, and we're going to go into that here in a little while also. So now you can get into those large installations, and we've got a few of those, quite a few of those that are out in the marketplace and been very, very successful. Key fobs being less used these days, but now that you've got more people utilizing mobile devices, but there are people that still want those key fobs, and we do have those available. And then you've got some medical and panic transmitters for those wearable type of situations that people want to have that extra security for certain environments. So a nice big portfolio really brings it all together. I talked about a second ago, talked about two versions, and they're very, very similar. They're built on a common platform, and there's benefits to that. So when you take a look at the one on the left, that's a Pro A7 Plus, and then you want on the right, that's our Pro A7. Capacities, modulars, life safety, petition, all those items, how you program it, excuse me, all those items, they're common between both panels. Makes it easy for training, makes it easy for installation for your technicians, because they don't have to learn something new. If you're putting in one versus the other, it's exactly the same, saves for putting parts on the truck. You don't have to have different modules and different components. It's built upon a common platform. The difference is, you can see on the left-hand side there at the bottom, our Pro A7 Plus has built-in Amazon Alexa. Now, what's special about that is that it is truly Alexa is built into the actual panel. It is an Alexa dot, okay? And you're able to control other devices that you do in your home with the current Amazon product, and you'll also be able to, you can integrate it into the ProSeries platform. Hands-free disarming with Bluetooth onto your mobile device. That's on the Plus panel. We have the built-in camera for getting disarm photos, and you can see on the difference there on the left-hand side, you see that little black dot at the top. That's the camera. So if you're disarming, you can get confirmation of who disarmed the panel. We do have the motion viewer capability on the Plus, and you can view video from our Total Connect cameras and from doorbells on the Plus series of control. So you've got some extra features that happen on the Plus, and if the installation doesn't require those particular features, and it's going to be something less with some of the Alexa type things and disarming and all those, and you don't need them, you can go to the Pro A7. Now here you can take a look at, and I'm not going to read this and go through every single thing here, but I'm going to point out a few things on the panel. First thing you look at when you see this is the main screen pretty uncluttered, right? It's pretty straightforward, and that's by design, so that it's very simple to operate. We want to reduce those training calls. We want to reduce those false alarms. We want to make it simple for the consumer. So if you look at this and the panel says it's disarmed and you want to arm it, you would press the arm button. Pretty simple, straightforward. You don't need multiple screens. Same thing when you're disarming, it would say armed and you would hit the disarm button. Obviously enter your code to the disarming, but however, it's a very straightforward operation to help you with false alarms and that's training and installation. On the bottom left, you can see some of the emergency icons. These are pretty much very consistent with what we've done over the years with other control panels. And so it's very consistent, like I said, also for not only for you, because you've been installing our panels, and if you've been using them, it's very familiar to you, but if they've even had these in other systems from Resideo, and whether they're on the Vistas or Lynx or Lyrics or any of those panels, they're consistent in operation. We do have the weather that's up there on the upper left-hand side. So you've got the 5-day weather and severe alerts that come up there. You're able to view the video doorbell and Total Connect cameras on the panel. We want to be able to talk about those reducing truck rolls, right? So you have those end user installable expansion modules. So yes, you could have the consumer install the radio, and we'll get into that in a little while. So you can ship it to them, can provision the radio, ship it to them. They can change out the radio, and then you've up and running. You've now you're giving them the newest technology when that comes ahead, because we just went through it right now, right? 3G to 4G. So now you'll be able to, I'm sure that'll be coming in the future. You don't have to put this on the wall. A lot of people like it on the wall, but if you don't want to put it there and you want to put it on a desk, we have the desk mount. Very simple. It comes with a plug-in power adapter. You don't have to drill holes into the wall or anything. It comes with the desk mount, and you're able to put it right on a counter. Me personally, I have it in my foyer on a desk mount, and it's very convenient for us when we walk in the home. Big item there that we've just come out with now is doing the dealer branding. And so dealers can put their own information onto the front of the screen, and I'll go into it in a little while. And when you press that, you can get your company information, keeping that connection to you alive and a lot closer, so that you're able to have a connection to your consumer and they've got it to you. So if they need to get in touch with you for service or upgrades, for new things that they want to get, obviously it's right there and easy for them to reach you. And talked a little bit about it. We'll go into some more talking about the Alexa integration, and we've got our speaker and microphone plug, built into there on the Plus. So we'll go through some of these details. Let's go through some of the wins. So we talked quickly about it, but when you take a look at the modules that we have for this, so it really, this is a big forefront of the product at this point. By being able to have these modules, it makes it simpler for you as an installing company by having common modules across the platform. Being able to have these also, you only have to provide what the customer really needs. If they don't need Z-Wave, you don't have to give them the Z-Wave card, right? You only put in what you need. End user replaceable radios. We do have that takeover module, and you can see on the bottom right that we handle the 5800, which is the Resideo one-way wireless that is common on Lyric and Lynx and on Vista. So we are able to utilize the 5800 on here. Also being able to utilize the other products down there, 2 gig, Bosch, DSC, Interlogix, Qualsys. On the Qualsys, it's not the S line, but we do have capability of taking over some sensors that are out there in the marketplace, and also being able to do the radio upgrades, right? So everything is modular here. Yeah, so again, on the Alexa, you're being able to tell it to lock the front door as the screen says right there, but being able to run scenes, ask it questions, anything you pretty much do with your current Amazon device in your home, you can do here, and also be able to integrated into the security side. So setting your timers, being able to get the weather, what have you, you can utilize this and be able to use the functionality of the Amazon world right here on your ProSeries. And remember, since it's built in, there's a whatever $50 value of that device built into this, so that when you take this and put it into the kitchen or the foyer or wherever you're going to be putting the ProSeries panel, automatically comes with them an Alexa device. So pretty cool, pretty neat feature. I utilize it quite a bit myself. I think it's a really nice technology that's been built into this. Our touchscreen. So the wireless touchscreen, the one on the right down here, everything that you can do on the panel, on the ProSeries panel, you can do on the touchscreen. So if you're going to have your Amazon services, you want to do that and be able to talk to it just like you talk to the panel, it's on here. All of your controlling of your locks and your home control and your automation, all of those things also on the touchscreen. Same thing with the cameras. Really helps with reducing that training time, because now you don't have to have the ability to, or have to worry about, okay, on your control panel, do X, Y, Z. And if you go to the secondary keypad, you need to do ABC, and you're going to be able to change this. You don't have to worry about that. It's identical across the, if you're doing it on the panel, you're doing it on the touchscreen, which is a really nice time saving, adding dollars into you and saving installation time and training time, and more importantly, maybe confusion for the consumer, right? We do have that secondary wireless keypad, and be able to provide a more, I'll call, traditional type of arming, disarming type of functionality, being able to put that maybe in a secondary location, maybe into a garage or some other area that doesn't require a touchscreen, and that is available for those types of installations. Google Voice. So yes, so while Google actually is a Total Connect integration, right? And it's not built into the panel, but we do support Google Voice on our systems. So if somebody is a Google house instead of an Amazon house, you can integrate that into their Total Connect and be able to utilize the Google Voice Assistant to be able to arm and disarm and be able to get you run some scenes and things of that nature. So you're able to really get a more of a voice assistant capability beyond just the Amazon product line. So simple voice control, right? Utilizing that. And so it really works out well. You need the Total Connect account for that. This one here, this to me is got so much benefits. We have now customized voice descriptors. All right, so what does that mean? So typically in security panels, you would have a set of words. So when you're programming a sensor, you can, it's canned words. So it would have bedroom, and it would have, closet maybe, or front door, back door, things of that nature. Well, what we came out with here is the ability to type in the words that you want for that particular sensor. So in this case, it says, Andrea, bedroom window open. Andrea is probably not in the canned list of words and typically in a system, but you type it in, and instead of it just saying bedroom window open, it would say Andrea, bedroom window open, giving it really customized to the way the people live. So if you have a den, maybe some people call it a den, maybe some people call it a sunroom. So now, rather than say, well, I don't have the word sunroom, but I had the word den, so I use that. So understand when den, then they get confused. Now you don't have to worry about it. What do you call that room? We call it the sunroom. Great, sunroom window. And now you're customized to the homeowner. So I think this is really a neat feature that the product has incorporated. It does do multiple languages, and the same languages that we support with the product today. And when I say consistent voice vocabulary, it's not like, well, we've added in some new capability and kept the canned. They sound identical right across the the board. So you're not getting two different voices or anything like that. It is truly a seamless voice, fully customized, really, really neat system that helps you be able to customize these systems for your customers. New capability for the Wi-Fi. We have a Wi-Fi access point now in the control panel for that touchscreen, the wireless touchscreen. You can pair it directly to the panel, whereas before you only could pair it to the local Wi-Fi in the home to increase that, it says there, installation flexibility. And let me explain that a little bit, right? So option one was how it was up until now. So you would be able to pair it to the panel to the local Wi-Fi, and then take the touchscreen and pair it to the house Wi-Fi. The downside of that is if the house Wi-Fi went down for whatever reason, got unplugged or what have you, now the secondary keypad didn't work. That could cause a service call to you, to the dealer. So that's not really a service call per se. It's not that there's nothing working. It's working. It's just that there's no Wi-Fi. There's a different problem going on, right? Excuse me. So we don't want that to happen. So what we now have is you've got the option 2 down there that you take the touchscreen, pair it to the control panel. Now, if for some reason the Wi-Fi does happen to go down, the touchscreen and the control panel, they still communicate. It's got the access point in it. And now you never lose that communication in the operation. So just different ways of being able to install the product. Both work, both have fantastic capabilities, except there's a little bit different there as far as if the Wi-Fi for some reason should happen to go down, you could lose the communication because there's nothing for it to talk to, right? Great range on this, right? 80 to 90 foot access point range, so shouldn't have to worry about having that condition where we can't reach. So really robust feature there. Talk quickly about hands-free disarming. So we do have the ability to have the Bluetooth on the Pro A7 Plus, have that Bluetooth disarming. Very simple to set up. The consumer can set this up. Doesn't have to be a dealer installation feature unless you want to do it that way. But the consumer can set this up themselves. 6 phones can be programmed. So as people are coming and going, the system can arm and disarm. If you have more than one phone programmed inside the system for this feature, the last person that leaves would be the phone that you could that it would recognize, right? Or last person coming in. So it's not like you're going to be overriding each other at that point. Oops, sorry about that. Went the wrong way. Let's talk about our sensors. Big range of sensors for Resideo and ProSeries. So, as I said before, 2-way wireless encrypted, full line for life safety, burglary, awareness, battery strength right to the panel. So when you've got a battery, battery going down on a particular sensor, comes up on the panel, you get notified about that. That can be replaced by the consumer if it's something that they're not comfortable with doing or you don't want to do as an installing dealer. That notification, you'll be able to take a look at that also through AlarmNet, and you can also be able to decide when you want to be able to replace those batteries, or they may call you and you can go out there and change those batteries. 128 encryption, and we have also our takeover protection. So the system, the sensors rather, are locked to the control panel so that somebody can't come over and take over that system without you protecting that system and unlocking the sensor from the control panel. So you would be notified then, obviously, that they can't take over the sensor. So somebody can't take out your panel and utilize the sensors in the home that you've been working so hard on. They would have to replace everything and be able to lock those together. So a little bit of a benefit there also on that particular feature. Life safety, big thing, big concern. And this is really important for a system installed in a home. And we've incorporated what we call one go, all go. And so now, as the diagram shows, if a fire were to break out in the basement, the detectors in the other locations on the other floors also go off at the same time. Really important so that we can save lives and get people out when they needed to get out of the home and be notified and let them know what's happening under life safety types conditions. We also have voice enunciation on the combo detector. So it's going to enunciate that it's a fire. It's going to be a CO situation. So it's really important to get that voice enunciation out there. So it's got both visual and audible. So it's talking, it's making the temporal sounding sounds out there. So you're getting those notifications. And this way here, being wireless, and you also can place it at the right locations easily without having to try to get wires into a location that you may not be able to easily access. I know that these have been installed in locations even on buildings that are like churches and different things that they can't be drilling into certain areas, whether they're going to be special types of woods and things like that. You can't destroy this, so you can put a wireless detector in there. So it works out really well. Takeover module. So interesting. We talked about this earlier, that we can take over some other devices. What's special about this now is that prior to a few months ago, this did not support the 5800 life safety devices. It only supported the burglary devices. Now, this device supports everything on 5800 and including those life safety devices. So you've got smoke, heat, carbon monoxides, the combo that's out there. You can utilize the takeover module for those. And you can easily program those via 360 web, mobile, and local programming. We've introduced local programming, and I'll go over that in a little bit here also. So nice little added feature for the ProTakeover, being able to utilize the 5800 life safety devices. We introduced a repeater, and for some of those larger installations or maybe construction that's preventing for some reason some of the distance on the wireless, we do have a repeater. So it extends the range of the PROSIX wireless. And let's say you're getting, and I'm making up the numbers, if you're currently getting 50 feet, you put in the repeater, you're going to be able to go out 50 feet from the panel, and then those devices will have their 50 feet back to the repeater, right? So you're extending that range. You can have 2 repeaters per system. You cannot go panel, repeater, repeater. It would be panel to repeater and panel to repeater, as the diagram shows. But you can put up to 2 of those into the system. It does have backup battery. So that's a real big benefit there. It's going to match up with the 24-hour backup battery inside the panel. And it does support life safety devices, which is another great thing. So you're really getting a powerful device out of this when you need to have a signal strength boost, if you will. Smart home, big discussion, big thing in the marketplace today. Resideo is taking this really seriously and doing a lot with smart home, and a lot of consumers are looking for these. That's why we've got the Alexa built in. This is why we're working with companies like Chamberlain and Schlage and working with August, right? So these are all the types of the things that are going into a home that we are supporting and working with. One of our latest ones that we're working with is Brilliant, and Brilliant is a controller that controller that controls. It's a controller that you put in a home. It replaces a light switch. Really simple idea, really cool idea. It basically replaces a light switch, and they have anywhere from a single gang up to a 4-gang controller. And you replace that, they then have integrations to a lot broader base of integration. So we're integrated to them through Total Connect, and we have a true integrated solution with them to be able to do smart home control. And on top of that, we're bringing in now all of their integrations into our portfolio through their integration. So really big thing. There's a lot of things happening with that, and you can hear more about Brilliant and what we're doing in the future in the near future. You'll be hearing about that from Resideo and from Brilliant. But we announced this here recently. We showed it at the ISC West show. A lot of positive responses, a lot of interest in this. So I'm sure you'll be seeing more about that, along with some of the other things that we're doing to be able to deliver that really that smarter home, that smart home installation that people are looking for. That they're looking to be able to make things less complicated, easier. So when they walk in the door, things happen automatically, and they don't have to start worrying about putting that switch on, turning that switch off. Did I remember to do this? Things can happen easily and automatically for them, beyond the simple things, even a thermostat, which can automatically have a setback. Well, now we can tie it into arming and disarming, and now it's really going on your own schedule and all happening automatically. So look for more from more things on smart home and with Brilliant from Resideo. We do have obviously we have our Total Connect app, highly rated app. It's rated, I think, #1 out in the stores. So again, user interface is the exact same as the panel. So you're reducing those training times, right? So when you do the installation and now you give them an app, it's not going to be, well, what does this mean on the app and what does it mean on the panel? I've got to do a quick cross-reference. No, if on the panel it says disarm and the app says disarm and they look the same, you're reducing that confusion, you're reducing false alarms, you're adding more profits because you're not spending time answering questions and all of that. You're making this really simple for the consumer and for your own technicians, because now it's easy for them too, because they're identical across the way, right? With ProSeries and Total Connect, we're calling it fast alarm signaling processing, right? This thing really operates really quick. Total Connect and ProSeries have an extraordinarily fast connection, and it really is impressive to see. So if you haven't used it, please check it out and get some installations going with that, because it really is impressive and works great. Can you view live video? So you can see your doorbells and Total Connect cameras on the control panel. So if you're installing that Skybell, which is the doorbell from Resideo, and you're putting in other video cameras, indoor, outdoor from Resideo, and you want to have those come up on the control panel, you can do that and be able to see what's happening and get somebody rings your bell, you can see it right there. So great little add-on that we've recently included into the ProSeries. Our motion viewer, this has been around for a while. If you haven't seen this, you should check them out. So you can get yourself a motion viewer, which has a motion detector with pet immunity, along with a camera to get a quick clip of what's going on. And basically for the price, almost the price of a typical motion detector, right? So you're adding capabilities by relatively low expense, fully 100% battery powered, no wires to run, so you can put these anywhere in the home. 4-year battery life. So any place you want to capture video, and with that, where you would install a PIR, you can put one of these in, giving added information to the consumer, because not only now maybe they get on their Total Connect and they get told that there's going to be, or there is a condition, there's motion, okay, or there's some kind of condition they want to be notified about. Well, now I also get a clip and says, oh, I see who it is. And now it's either a good person, a bad person, what have you, right? So now at that point, they're getting more information and how they can react. So really, really pretty cool, innovative technology that we have there. Yes, it is UL listed for commercial burg. Big opportunity here, along with the 4 partitions, right? We've got common lobby also in there. So now you also have the ability to do SMB type of installations with a control panel that you can also do residentially. And now you don't have to have multiple panels, use the same devices and the same peripherals, right? It does support that motion viewer. You got the 24-hour battery that's standard on the product, which is a UL requirement, right? And you can manage multiple locations. So think about a store owner who maybe has multiple stores in the area or fast food stores, and they own 2, 3, or 4 of them, manage them all through Total Connect. Great opportunity for ProSeries to fit into that SMB arena and be able to control and manage the store, and be able to manage employees, and be able to manage everything there from a single app. So really great installation there. Excuse me. Yeah, so we've added this capability, and really easy way for us to be able to, I just want to check time. Okay. Really easy way for us to be able to give the consumer the ability to get help on the panel. We used to have something very similar on some prior panels that we introduced, and even on our Tuxedo keypad, and have those videos built into the panel. Really cool idea. However, if you're looking at it on the panel and you want to be able to make some changes or carry out what it's telling you to do, you'd have to pause it, do it, go back to the video, made it a little bit inconvenient. Now you have a QR code, you take your smart device, you scan the code, and it goes to the YouTube channel with the video. You now look at that video, and now on your mobile device, you can pause, you can restart it, you can do everything you want. And while you're doing it, you can now pause it and operate it on the control panel. Makes that user experience so much better, right? And now they can be able to go through the functions that they're looking to do. So if they're looking how to pair their mobile device to the control panel, they can be stepped through it with the video and be able to easily access that. So big capability there and big benefit. There's new videos coming out. We've just uploaded a bunch of new videos there recently, and there's going to be more coming here in the near future. So look for those. So summary on how we help you win, right? We talked about the modular, big opportunity there. It's customizable, whether you're going to be doing things with the Pro A7, whether you're going to be doing things with the Pro A7 Plus. We've got the Amazon built into it, life safety with One Go, All Go. We just talked about being able to support with one system, residentially and SMB, big opportunity there. And we work with a lot of market leaders on the smart home side, not only things that we've done inherit into the Pro Series, but now things that we're doing with our relationship with Brilliant. So great opportunities. Let's talk a little bit about how you keep them longer. So AlarmNet 360, right? Our insights AlarmNet 360 allows you to be able to really watch over that customer base that you have, be able to reduce that attrition by monitoring what's going on with those customers. If you don't see them arming and disarming the system, well, maybe they're not getting the value you want out of that. You want to protect that RMR and get those renewals of your contract, right? You don't want them canceling. So you want to watch that activity and see how they're using the system. Maybe they're doing things on there that you can go back to and sell them. Look, I noticed you're not doing X. Maybe this would be something beneficial to you. Maybe get some upgrades out of them too, right? So you can find some different revenue streams that maybe they're not utilizing, that maybe you want to introduce to them. Easily can manage and sort and be able to watch all of your accounts, right? And you really can get this information on a real-time type of basis with the dashboard. So it's a real good way to be able to keep them, watch them, make sure they're using the system as you want them to, right? And making sure that they're getting the most out of that particular system using 360 Insights. Here you can take a look at what's going on right here with this particular group of customers. Obviously, this is a large customer or big area that they're looking at here, but you can get the kind of information, right? See what kind of service plans they have with Total Connect, what radios are out there, what services that they're utilizing, what modules that they have on the communicator side, what automation devices, right? So they have switches, they have locks, they have thermostats. You can tell what's happening with your customer base, drill down to what's important, and be able to then react to them if you're finding situations that you may want to address, right? As it says right there, be proactive versus reactive. Great thing to do. Talked a little bit about the takeover module, right? That it locks the sensors to the panel. Important from holding on to your revenue and keeping those customers, keeping that RMR, making sure that you've got your customer base strong. Prevents those competitors from reusing those particular sensors. So now they've got to come and unlock them. And how do you get that done? They've got to call you. The customer is going to have to call you to get that done. So you might have an opportunity to save that customer from leaving you. So you're going to get those notifications, reducing that attrition. So quickly, right? Modular support. That also, we didn't talk about it so in this section, but it does help with being able to keep those customers longer, because maybe they didn't want Z-Wave in the beginning, and they decided, no, we don't want that stuff, whatever they say, right? Maybe things change and they realize they do want to be able to control some lights and things. So you can now easily add that to the system later on that you couldn't, instead, if it wasn't there and you bought a system that didn't have it, well, okay, you now can just add the card with ProSeries and now you have that technology, right? So you've got that maintenance that you can do remotely. You can monitor them for attrition risks, right? And relocking those sensors, protecting your RMR. So all these things help keep those systems longer and being them your customers longer. Last little section, talk about driving, right? Driving efficiencies, driving more profits. So if you're using your diagnostics to be able to program those remotely and locally, right? You can do those things remotely without having to send a truck potentially or a different level technician. So you can set those up remotely and being able to do those things financially to your benefit, being able to use templates so that when you're doing those installations, they're happening consistently every single time. You know that when we go out there and we use the template, all the things are going to be programmed the way you're expecting it. So when you receive those signals in, they're going to be valid and they're going to be correct, right? So you want to be able to do that, use those checklists that we have built in to be able to reduce those errors and make sure that we're not creating problem installations that are going to increase service, maybe callbacks. Those are all things that are not going to help you with driving financial efficiencies, right? Over the air updates. So big thing, if you don't have to roll a truck and you can do some updates over the air by downloading the panel and being able to download right to the sensor level. If there's an update that's needed, great way to drive some efficiencies, reduce some costs to you. All right, so those are all things that are being able to be done with the ProSeries and being able to do that with the AlarmNet 360, with the ProSeries, with Total Connect, right across the board, being able to do those OTAs. Really good thing to drive efficiency. Local programming. So maybe you do want to be able to be locally when you're at the site, and maybe there's a reason why you want to be able to program locally without having to do things from the office. And let's say there is a technician that has to go out there. Maybe you sold them something and they're going out to install a new sensor. Well, while they're there, they can actually go in on the panel and do some local programming of the devices. What's nice about it is that it follows the same type of patterns that we're doing with AlarmNet 360. So we're not doing something that's going to be a totally different type of user experience for the installer. It follows that same menu structure, and it's very much the same as the 360 web and mobile application. So if they're using it there, they can use it here. It's very common to them. They'll be able to easily program the system. And you can use the best choice of programming options that you want to use, whether it be locally, remotely, web, mobile, totally your choice. Very simple. You want to add a new sensor into the system. Once you add that sensor in, picture will come up. It'll tell you it's learned in. You can confirm it, you name it, and you save and go on. It's a pretty simple process. Talk about the dealer branding. This is something that's been asked for quite a bit. We got it now on the panel. Be able to bring your name forward with your consumer, keeping you in forefront with them. You can have it on the panel. You can have it on Total Connect. So when they're using the web app, or they're using the mobile app, or they're using the panel itself, your name is there. Really simple to set it up. This is AlarmNet 360 setup that you're looking at. And you can see there's a tab that says branding, and you add in the information, you upload the logo, and you look on the bottom right-hand side, it says test signal single panel. So you can test that, see how it looks on the panel. And if you like it and everything looks good, publish to all, it goes out to all of your ProSeries systems. Up in the upper left-hand side, because I also mentioned that you can have it on the Total Connect app. Well, if you programmed it here, why should I have to reprogram it on Total Connect? Just do a copy and it'll go over to Total Connect. Conversely, if I did it on Total Connect first, and I say, wow, I like that, I got all my information, okay, copy to ProSeries. So now you don't have to go through and program it twice. Very nice feature. Go either way. If you do Total Connect first, fine, do it there, copy it to Pro. If you did it Pro first, go the other way. When it's happening, you've also got a little bit of a dashboard to tell you how they're going, and you can see this progress, which ones have successfully upgraded or now have your dealer branding. Ones that are in progress may have something that failed for whatever reason, didn't communicate. You can address that one separately, but now it's not a guessing game. You have knowledge to be able to how to handle that. So more efficient, more revenue, driving profits, right? Over-the-air updates, remote diagnostics, anytime, anywhere type of maintenance, being able to have end-user replaceable batteries and modules, really saving you a lot of dollars there. Single, simple user interface for you and for your customers to learn, reducing training, being able to have peripherals across the board. So now you don't have to have multiple stocks of different things. A radio on one will work on the other, the same sensors across the board. So you have one system, hardware, software, all supported, all bringing it all together. So before I finish up, and if you have any questions for Troy or myself, really ProSeries brings it all together. We talked about the modular, full line of sensors, hands-free disarming, really make it convenient for your consumers to disarm that panel. We've got built-in technologies such as Amazon Alexa that's built into the system now, right? We've got our Total Connect app, which really is a top-rated app and provides ease of use for that consumer. Life safety, that's important, right? We're selling life safety here. One go, all go, really installing that peace of mind. Being able to talk about smart home control and the opportunities we have there with the homeowners, servicing that locally, remotely, mobile, all kinds of ways that we can do this. Viewing video on the display, end user replaceable, really brings it all together. So ProSeries, you really think about it. If you haven't been using it, I would suggest that you take a quick look. So with that, I'm done with the presentation. I don't know, Troy or Julian, if there's any questions that have come in, or if I have anything for Troy or I to answer verbally.
Absolutely, I do have some questions here for you. I think that when folks hear Resideo, they're thinking home security. Can you talk about one of the larger products that ProSeries or larger installations that ProSeries was installed in?
Yeah, we do have a couple of large ones, and I know Troy, you're familiar, you've been intimate with some of those. So why don't you talk about that big installation?
Sure. We've had large houses, 17, 20,000 square foot houses up in the Northeast that have been installed with ProSeries. Some of those have used, one or two repeaters using the PROSIX wireless. And then out in California, we've had 20,000 and 100,000 square foot commercial facilities that we have, ProSeries in. In fact, I just asked the customer, the dealer the other day, if I could take a look at one of those, the system that was in the 100,000, because I'm like, well, what's the signal strength look like on all these? And I was really impressed on how we delivered there. Because everything had excellent signal strength. We're talking, 3 or 4 bars of signal strength on the devices, going, on the perimeter of the building. So Great question.
Big installation.
Yes.
Show, George, some of the branding that's available on the screen of the panels. What's the turnaround time on being able to apply the branding?
Ooh, good question. And I didn't address it when I was talking about it, so I'm glad it came up. So the branding, that is pretty much immediate. Once the dealer puts that on there, there's no approval, there's no sending it back to Resideo to see and check it out and make sure that we gotta do anything to it or anything like that. You take your logo, you put your information on, and you publish it. So it's immediate.
If anyone else has questions, I want to remind you, you can click that Q&A icon at the bottom of your control panel, or if you're watching us on Facebook Live, you can comment and I'll pitch your questions over to George. We've got a few here from Greg. Sounds like he's really interested in some of the stats that you provided in the PowerPoint today. So was asking if some of the graphics were available to Resideo dealers to use. And if you had an idea for the source on the 4.8 hours of DIY installation time.
Sure, we can get that out to people. Yeah, there may be some of that on our website, but I'll check and make sure that we get that out to everybody.
Thank you. And do you know if Resideo has done head-to-head comparisons with DIY systems like SimpliSafe?
Sure. Sure, we've done a fair amount of things like that to be able to compare how those installations, we've done some things consumer focused. We do a lot of VOC, we call it, voice of the customer, right? So we've done some things that are customer facing and have the customer do those installations versus a pro who's going to come in and put in a ProSeries type panel. So we've done comparisons of things like that, absolutely.
Now, what future integrations do you have planned for the platform?
Yeah, so good question. So I talked a little bit about Brilliant, which is our biggest one probably right now that people should take notice of, because I think there's going to be a lot there with that particular integration. Excuse me, Brilliant's done a really nice job of being able to provide a big portfolio, a broad portfolio of products out there in the marketplace. And those will just be brought into our portfolio, if you will, because now they'll be able, you know, once you connect it to ProSeries, or really when you connect it to Total Connect, you now have those capabilities that Brilliant brings to the table. So that'll expand it tremendously right off the gate. And so some things that we haven't been able to bring to market, namely like a Sonos. So we haven't done audio, and they do have audio and they have connection to Sonos. So not only do you able to, and even if you only used it for that particular thing, you'd be able to utilize obviously the scenes and all the things that go on with ProSeries. The Z-Wave devices that would go into ProSeries are still capable and still available. But now you'd also have Sonos and all be working simultaneously and seamlessly. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm using that system, this system, that system. It's all seamless. So I would say that that's probably something that people should be looking out for in the future from Resideo.
It looks like those are the majority of our questions. I want to thank George and Troy for joining us today. And most importantly, thank you to Resideo. Resideo is our diamond partner at ESA, meaning they really invest in the pro installed channel and in dealers in the industry as a whole. So with that, if you have any parting words, George or Troy, I'll say goodbye to our security pros on the call today.
No, the only thing I'll say is thank you for your time and taking your time out of a busy day to spend it with Troy and myself and hearing this presentation. And if you haven't tried ProSeries or anything from Resideo, give it a shot. And we look forward to talking to you at a show or another future webinar in the future. So thank you very much.
We'll see you on the next ESA webinar, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. Thanks.